Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. In this particular story is called In Case of Emergency, Smash Coffee Pot, written by Totally a Ninja. Internal Galactic Council Memo. Classification, Null Terran. Secondary warning, do not allow Terrans to acquire this document. This should lead to serious political and social backlash, potentially irreparable and damning. Hello, Galactic Council citizen. If you have received this memo, you are marked as one of the following. 1. Leaving Galactic Council company to work under or around Terrans. 2. Leaving civilized space on missions of the uncharted or unhospitable conditions, in which rapid communications and assistance may not be available. Research outposts, establishing colonies on a frontier, or otherwise all fall under this category. 3. Interacting with Terrans on a regular basis in your community or region. 4. Is in proximity to a Terran residence or shelter of longer than 10 cycles. 5. Involved in Terrans in which they have been acknowledged to maintain a standard routine of any kind. 6. Insert other scenario involving Terrans here. If you do not fall under any of the above, please disregard this message. Any attempt to forward this message will be denied. Any attempt to bring it to a Terran will be met with heavy penalty. Do not make copies. If you do fall under any of the listings above, please continue. A few tips for any newcomers to Terrans, regardless if you've done your research or not. 1. Do not make Terrans angry. 2. Do not make Terrans sad. 3. Do not make a Terran too excited. 4. Do not make a Terran too bored. 5. Do not touch a Terran unless otherwise allowed. Ask for permission and consent. 6. Do not touch a Terran stuff unless allowed. 7. Do not eat anything Terran unless double-checked by a chef, onboard AI, and medic. 8. Do not feed anything to a Terran unless double-checked by a chef, onboard AI, and medic. 9. Do not attempt to harm a living creature in their proximity, unless necessary. 10. Do not attempt any challenges given by a Terran. 11. Do not challenge a Terran to do anything. 12. Do not push your luck on TerranNet. These 12 general tips have a resounding 68.93% success rate. Follow them and you may survive your new Terran company. In case of emergencies, do as standard protocol dictates. Number 1. Call for emergency through Galactic Council dictated lines. Quantum Spectrum 231 through 457. 2. Grab emergency supplies and get to the closest location of safety. 3. Wait for rescue. Should you be receiving this memo, there is an additional emergency action you can take. This action is highly recommended for an advanced response of research and assistance by Terrans. However, be warned, such an action will render any Terrans in proximity as borderline hostile. This action is also permitted, and any Terran associates, depending on their favor of you, may disregard it or mark you as a permanent menace to their society. If you find yourself in a scenario with no other options, as you and the lives of all those around you look bleak, do the following. Find the nearest coffee pot, pick it up, and smash it in whatever feasible way is possible for your species. Dropping it typically works fine above a certain height depending on gravity. Throwing it at a wall works if you are physically capable. Sitting on it is not recommended unless you have a carapace capable of shrugging off Terran calcite glass and enough weight to crush it. Taking a blunt instrument to it works given enough force. In case your species is incapable, look for a Terran glass breaker device, often found near the vehicles or blast doors with the windows in case of emergency. It is unknown how their species is capable of keeping track of every coffee pot and coffee machine, but from what we have dubbed the cafe network, they are capable of detecting a broken device in milliseconds of it falling out of repair. Preparing backups along with any possible solution to any given reason in which a Terran would allow something to happen to one and reaching the location of said defunct coffee pot/machine in seconds. These solutions cover a wide range of emergencies and will, without fail, have a solution for the given emergency you find yourself in. End of memo. I always considered that memo a joke, At least the last part of it. Sure, the tips were vague, but they made sense. An intelligent pack-based predator species, which, while they have prey traits, they most definitely did not always abide by. Omnivores by nature allowed them a wide variety of diet, famously their coffee being claimed a vegetable to bypass Galactic Council laws concerning drug trafficking of Class B drug, caffeine. After a couple of decades, most have come to terms with the Terran's culture eccentricity. The reason I bring this up is after accepting the joint research and colony project on Frontier with Terrans, I did accept my fair share of trouble, but I believed it would be solved eventually by the procedures put in place. We had some small incidents here and there. They were taken care of shortly with little to no trouble. Yet, here I am, facing a swarm invasion on Frontier, no less. No true military backup, stars above, the lives here lost already. I still don't trust the memo, but I have no other option. I am one of the remaining alive in my sector. The bunker was blocked off by debris by the time I got here. I was lost in despair for a while and found myself here in the cafeteria. With the swarm rapidly approaching, I find myself staring at a coffee pot, thinking about that stupid memo. If I am to die, I'm going to smash that pot so whichever moronic Galactic Council clerk wrote it can have a laugh as they read the report. With a slow and steady movement, they made their way to the pot. Inconspicuous, and like any other, they had seen countless Terrans and some of their fellow Crucible World friends pour themselves many drinks from this pot. It should have no technology built in, a trusty, classic, traditional pot as it were. With a groan, they hoisted themselves up onto the table. With their short stature and small drop would do nothing. So they took the pot and lifting it over their head, in one burst of anger and a final statement of spite against the swarm and the imaginary Galactic Council clerk in their mind, it flew to the ground and promptly shattered. The sound was distinct, grating to his sensitive ears. Glass shards were spread all before him. At least, if the swarm comes now, they'll have to step on that to get me. And, in moments, an odd noise could be heard from the coffee machine. One that had never heard made by that machine, just bordering out their auditory range. His was special, as his hearing was far more fine-tuned, even for his species. The noise didn't stop and got louder, enough that it caused him pain. Disoriented, he fell from the ledge he was on. A few glass shards cut into him, and he faded from consciousness. He could feel a rumbling. The glass shards before him shaking and vibrating on the ground. Noises could be heard from the hall. Gunfire, swarm screeches, and screaming in Terran military cant. Terran military? This far out? The memo was real. Shortly fading into black as the cafeteria was breached and the dark, shadowy but distinctly bipedal figures rushed in. Are we saved? Swarm invasion! No wonder it was destroyed. Must have fell off the ledge at some points during the invasion. A stern and leader-like voice spoke. And the Fennec? A simple question, clearly referring to himself by the inane nickname based on one of their many predator species on Earth. Scared out of its wits. Bunker blocked by the debris. Ran and hid. Must have slid on some spilled liquid. Maybe caused the fall itself bumping into the machine, or maybe it already broke by the time he fell in. Hard to say. He was slowly being lifted as he began to truly lose consciousness. His vision had already faded from his consciousness shortly following. Get him to medical. Call for assistance for the rest of the base. I want that machine repaired and a fresh pot ASAP. End of story. I would quickly like to thank our Tier 5 patrons, Dragzoon WRE, Quantum Wednesday, Ambrose Cattell, Lord Ashrakal, Bushmaster 177, Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, and Arcadian. Thank you very much.